Welcome in this video talking about the sun in Aquarius, the moon in Leo. Happy full moon, as you may or may not know. Yesterday was the full moon. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that in the sky. So pull up a seat first, grab your tea, your coffee, whatever the case may be, and enjoy. I also am, as of yesterday, opening up the door to donation-based readings for those that are interested. The ability to donate to the channel is in my profile bio, as well as a Discord that I've made that I'm new to. So check it out. Love to see you over there. Perfect place to ask questions. And I hope the signal is good. Testing, testing. Comment and ear in the comments if you can hear me. I wonder if it's lagging. TikTok says it's lagging. What does YouTube say? I want to also take this time and this opportunity while we're talking about transits, something that's been on my mind about this idea of astrology. I've been tinkering with it for over the past 2.5 decades. And I can say that from my experience, it's a tool. I think that it has truth and validity to it. I would say I know because I've experienced the truth and the validity and practicing it and applying it to my life. Although there are those who disagree, I am a firm believer of the word, the meaning, the root meaning of the word truth and knowledge, which has to do with experiencing a thing, which one would not know until they experience it or know some of the basic components to astrology before working with it. This light is making it look like I have bags under my eyes, but it's what it is. Grand Rising, how are you? Welcome in. Excuse me. So what I'm trying to say is that astrology is true to me because I've experienced it. And I wouldn't want anybody to believe in something that they haven't experienced. It's actually impossible for anybody to even believe. According to the root meaning of the word belief, it's impossible for anybody to believe in astrology if they haven't experienced it. So to say that you don't believe in it is to also say that you haven't experienced it. For the record, on the record, and let the record reflect. And what a fine time to elaborate on or talk about truths and experiences with the sun transiting Aquarius. Aquarius is symboled as these two jagged lines, which some people think that it means or symbolizes the water. That's one way to look at it. And I can see why people get that idea because it is pictured and symboled as a person pouring water. So people identify with the water as opposed to the container that the person is holding that the water comes from. It's more about the container itself because the container holds the water. Same way that the container holds the water is the same way that a group symbolizes the container and they contain a certain type of knowledge. Whether it's true or not, that's a whole nother thing. But it still contains something inside. I heard someone say and refer to Aquarius as a cloud. And I was like, ooh, that's a good one. Because a cloud contains and holds water. So what I'm trying to say is that the container that the water bearer is holding, Aquarius means water bearer, the bearer of some type of truth. And water it signifies truth. It signifies and symbolizes something that can purify and cleanse an individual through the truth of it. So we had a climax yesterday of that truth and the expression of love with that truth. It's interesting how in astrology, the zodiac sign Leo is exactly opposed Aquarius. Leo has to do with the will. And I say that because the interest there is the fact that one hand washes the other, they both wash the face. I'm going to use that phraseology because that phraseology describes the relationship of an opposition in an astrological chart. Cosmic Sister, we're over here on YouTube. Come through. We're waiting for you. Same name, same lab coat, same brown face. Hurry. So, um, yeah, one hand wash the other. They both wash the face. Full moon in Leo is one hand. Sun and stellium in Aquarius is another hand. They're both washing hands together. They're both washing, creating a suds and soapy environment of truth and love, love of truth, a natural love of containers. Quite simply, the relationship between Leo and Aquarius, now that I'm talking about it out loud, it goes in tandem with the idea of um, meeting people, that we need each other. because there's a love there. Look at how Leo is one hand, Aquarius is the other hand. Aquarius is the group, the container, and the knowledge within the container that the group holds. And the other hand being love or the will, the ego. They wash hands together. Clouds are the rivers of the sky. And it's easy to, when thinking of rivers, it's easy to think about the water as opposed to the cloud that contains the water. And that's what Aquarius is. So I want to pull up this chart. I talked long enough. And I'm going to talk some more, but this is the transit chart here. If you're over here on TikTok, come on over to YouTube. Same name, same spelling, same lab coat. Let me know in the comments that you come over from TikTok. You can like the live, give you a shout out. Thank you so much for the support and the love. So this is Leo here, the moon at around 3 o'clock. This is a chart for, and the moon is in Leo still, and the sun is in Aquarius still. So we have this polarity happening between two fixed signs. That's another interesting feature, that we're fixed in love. From an astrological perspective, Leo symbolizes and shows how we're anchored in love. And I say that because the fixed signs, I think the word fixed at its root means anchor, possibly. You're going to have to check that for yourself. Check the etymology on that for yourself. I'm going to have to recheck it. Matter of fact, let's recheck it. Nah, I'm not going to do it now. We'll get sidetracked, get to researching. So, yeah, we're anchored in love. We're even anchored from an astrological perspective. We're even sometimes anchored to the ego. Wow. That's so interesting. That's so interesting. But anyway, um, anchored in love, and we're anchored in containers. They anchor us, our friendships. That there's an anchor there, right? We're anchored in truth. That's another interesting thing. The zodiac sign Aquarius is about freedom. And the phrase that just came to mind was, the truth will set you free, Aquarius. And as you're set free from truth and knowledge, it brings a love, whether it's with others or with it's yourself and the connection and the relation that you have with knowledge and truth. Look at that. That's one of the things that I enjoy about astrology and symbolism, is that these phrases that I use in life before I did astrology are here. They start to come to the surface, or they start to pair in my mind and possibly your mind, as you start to connect the pieces in its most basic, simple format, if you will. So dynamic to me. Um, don't be shy. If you like, you can comment your zodiac sign as I share this information. I'll incorporate your sign in there. You put your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign. Um, Isha, peace to you. How are you? I'm so glad that you followed me. I'm currently on YouTube. Come on over. We're having a party over here, or a live, And you're more than welcome to put your rising sign over here. Do you do YouTube? I'd love to talk about the rising sign Aquarius, Virgo, Sun, Scorpio, Moon, Saturn in the third house, and Aries. We got your age. You've aged yourself. Maximus, what's good, bruv? Welcome. It was your happy birthday. Let's go. I zapped onto your live because you said Aquarius. Also, my husband is a Leo. Come on over here to YouTube. So you'll have two places you can catch me talking about Aquarius, the container. Come on over. No need to hope. You see that I'm if I'm on live, I'm well. Thank you for asking. Fist bump. What is your rising sign? You can put it in the comments. Miss Cree, how are you? The Aries. I'm also working on my memory. It's getting stronger with memorizing people's placements. If not all three, at least one of the three. Miss Cree, I think you're a Capricorn rising, possibly. Sun in Aries, Capricorn rising, Moon somewhere. Hope you did your affirmations today. Oh, your sun sign is Aquarius, January 31st, right in front of me. Symboled as the two jagged lines. I'll digress for a moment. Scorpio moon, thank you for reminding me. Um, the depth, the deep. Scorpio moon is deep as substance. So I want to get to these two jagged lines in Aquarius. I talked in the beginning about how Aquarius is the container. It's more the container as opposed to the water itself. I have looked at Aquarius. I've incorporated the container every time, ever since someone had shared with me about and looking at it as the clouds, because the clouds hold water synonymously, similarly to how a bucket or an urn or whatever that person is holding and pouring water out of, or water's coming out of, is also a container. But the two jagged lines, why isn't it a container that we symbolize for Aquarius? Right? Maybe that jagged lines is water. But I look at it as two currents, and not necessarily two currents of water, but two currents of electricity. And the reason why I look at it as two currents of electricity is because Aquarius is the container, which is the clouds. And I'm using my imagination a little bit here and making connections, but it's also um, what the clouds contain is also, I think, lightning, or with clouds and rain, lightning and thunder come. And I'm making that connection because knowledge and truth are characteristics and traits of Aquarius, and also lightning um, is symboled as something that is like shocking. Right? And it'll, if you get struck by lightning, it will shock you. The same way that knowledge has a shocking factor to it sometimes in life. You know, the zodiac sign Aquarius is about the unexpected, even. Sometimes a group in a container can be can behave unexpectedly, radically even in some schools of thought. And in some observations that we see in the world right now. It's what's interesting. We can tie in how the sun is at 14 degrees of Aquarius. It's in the middle of Aquarius. And tomorrow it'll be in the middle because the 15 degrees would be the middle, which symbolizes or signifies 15 days, approximately 2 weeks. We're at the 2 week mark now. And in the past 2 weeks, if we were to look in the world, we can see how there's different containers or different groups that have taken action in an unexpected way, in a revolutionary way, right? Which is a character trait, another character trait of Aquarius. You're born on January 1st, January 31st, rather, 1989 at 3:33. Really? You we had a I would love to look at your chart. I'm not looking at um and pulling up charts at the moment unless maybe at the end we'll have some time. You're more than welcome to donate for a deep dive. I'll pull up your chart and look at your chart specifically um later on in the show if we have time. But I've allotted Sundays. Maybe I'll add in another day where I do some deep dives, but I also want to my main focus is to share what's on my mind for you and for myself. For as a connection, a connector of dots. I want to be a conduit. I am a conduit for connecting dots to real life experiences and the symbolism of the cosmos. If you put your sun, moon, and your rising sign, we could talk about that all day. Well, not all day, but I'll touch upon it. I'll sprinkle it in as I'm sharing, if you will. So what I'm trying to say is that Aquarius and when the sun is in Aquarius, some of the character traits come out. Aquarius is the container, which can similarly represent the people and the people speaking their truth or the truth that they want to be spoken. Personally, Aquarius is unconventional. Now, wherever you have Aquarius in your chart, that is where we see a we see these characteristics shown. What's good, War? War 530. Come on over to YouTube. Same name, same lab coat. I know that you're well. Come on over. Put it in the comments. We're waiting for you. Hurry. Are you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? You're about to pass out? Come over and say hi before you pass out. It's easy. Yeah, subscribe and then pass out. Get your rest. I don't want you in here malnourished of rest. Rising sign, ascendant, Scorpio sun. Oh, rising sign, ascendant, Scorpio. Sun sign, Aquarius. You forgot your moon sign. I see. Excuse me. You forgot the moon sign. So Aquarius for Scorpio rising, and for anybody else who's a Scorpio rising in here, it places Aquarius to be and influence the living the home life, if and in that you are a Scorpio rising. And how I get that is because Scorpio, which looks like this, if we count Scorpio as one or as the rising sign and the ascending sign, because that's what the rising and the ascending sign is. It's the zodiac sign that's ascending or the zodiac sign that's rising at this point here. But I'm pointing over here because for this chart, which is a transit chart for 2:57 p.m. later today, has Scorpio here in the fifth. So as I'm talking, if you walk with me with when I get to counting Scorpio, imagining it as one, Sagittarius as two, Capricorn as three, and Aquarius would be four signs away from Scorpio when we count Scorpio as one. And so that method to locate Scorpio or to locate Aquarius in the chart then gives us the house placement. Sidebar, it's one thing to believe, and it's another thing to know. I would say to know and then believe. And to way to know would be experience. So basically, um, it's one of the benefits to astrology is knowing your placements. It's a shortcut for sure, right? So Maximus, in that, I would interpret that as you experiencing some home life. War Flag 530. What's good? Thank you. Welcome. You got a completely different name. Saddle Bronc. Zach Zafi. You and your names. You got some wild names. Appreciate you. Now you can pass out now. Thank you for commenting. Like the live too. I encourage you to like the live if you're here. Um, but Maximus, the fourth house is the house of our inner emotions. So what does that mean? It means that inside your inner dialogue, your inner conversation has been speaking some truth and some knowledge, and you've been connecting some dots. It usually happens right around this time of the year where I'm pointing to here, but it could even be here. The internal dialogue, the internal conversations, the things that you're connecting to your experiences with your family. There's a container of information and knowledge that you have about the family. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, that's a whole nother thing. But there's some knowledge, there's some truth, there's an awakening happening when it comes to your home life. The people that raised you, how you were nurtured, and going down memory lane. Your entire life, yes, I would say your entire life has been like that. It's amplified between January 21st and February 19th. Because the sun acts as a light and it shines a light. As I read somewhere or someone said, imagine the sun as a flashlight. And when they said that, when I seen that or I read that, or I don't remember call exactly where I got that from, but I've held on to that for at least 10 years now, here and there. The sun is a flashlight. And so when you say I've experienced this my entire life, I totally agree. However, when you turn the flashlight, so I can have a flashlight, I look over here, I can see what's over here, I look over here, I can see what's over there, and then I no longer see what's over there for the moment, momentarily, even though it's still there. The sun in Aquarius is shining a bright light in the fourth sector. Like that. I like that you like that. That is fire. Bobby, come on over to YouTube and ask your questions. I'm migrating from TikTok over to YouTube. You're more than welcome. Same name, same lab coat, same brown face. Um, don't care. So curious why you don't care. We'll get into that in a later video. Happy birthday to you. Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Aquarius, with Libra on the ascendant. So in this case, right, we have um Aquarius, the zodiac sign Aquarius, with the ascendant sign being Libra. Where's Libra? Libra's here. So you use the same methodology to count to see what house the flashlight is shining. With Libra on the ascendant, Libra one, we always count the zodiac sign as one when it's placed in the one house or on this line. See, in this chart, Cancer is on the line. So Cancer is ascending at this moment at 2:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. But when you were born, according to what you're telling me, caring about your chart, Libra as one, Scorpio as two, Sagittarius as three, Capricorn as four, and Aquarius as five. So the sun, symboled here as the expression of oneself, the love that is expressed and emanates from you, is shining in the environment of in the house of love. And that's the sun's natural house. The sun naturally likes to be in the fifth house because in the natural zodiac, it's Leo's house. What does this mean? This means that you may experience circumstances where you care about love, your love life, you care about affection, maybe. Maybe you care about and or you're presented with topics around the love you have for yourself. Perhaps it's topics around your inner child, even. Because the sun and the moon are there, it touches a little bit to your emotions and your feelings and your internal dialogue as well, similar to the fourth house, like I shared with Maximus, because the moon is there. The moon is closely related to the fourth house in the zodiac sign Cancer. So, what does that look like in real time? It looks like the container of children, not that you have a container of children, but the cloud or the container or the knowledge of children or the knowledge that comes through and by children and the knowledge that comes through and by your childhood per se. Also, your creativity. The sun shines a light and is shining the flashlight on your creative attributes or creative nature. And it might change, it might be sporadic, it might be different, it might be unique. That's one thing about Aquarius is have a uniqueness to them, almost to an extreme degree. They're anchored in uniqueness and being different, even. Over the past 2.5 years, I've noticed Aquarius to not want to be like other people. That commercial, I want to be like Mike. Maybe not so much for Aquariuses. I don't want to be like Mike. I'll leave that for Mike and those that want to be like Mike. Me, not so much. We would change it a little. We would put a little tweak to it. Aquarius, wherever Aquarius is. There's a little tweak to your behavior when it comes to your creative ability. It also speaks to the love that you have for yourself. I said that already. Thank you so much for sharing. Sun in Aquarius, Moon in Aquarius. Another one. Sadly, um, broken and don't care. You got your names are so wild to me. I guess we have to have. Um, okay, so don't care is the sun and the moon in Aquarius. Um, oh, saddle broken. I was saying sadly. It's not sadly. It's saddle broken. I hope you fix your saddle or the saddle gets fixed somehow. Um, but Aquarius would be in the first house. Or no, so Aquarius would be in the third house with Sagittarius. You're a Sagittarius rising. So we would count Sagittarius as one, Capricorn as two, Aquarius as three, right? So Aquarius in the third house has a little bit of a different expression. It expresses itself through the communicative forms, communication, connecting of the dots through information that you share or information that you receive through reading, through writing, through conversing. So the sun shines a light on conversations specifically. And the third house also points to our relationships with our brothers, sisters, cousins, close relatives, and neighbors. And this is where we get the idea of daily conversations because you go outside, you get your paper, howdy neighbor, in some neighborhoods, not all. In some neighborhoods we don't say nothing, we just look at them. What do you want? Get out of here, away from me. It's different. Depends. But the idea of neighbors and the communication. How you doing? How's the kids doing? Oh, slept good. I slept good. Great. You have a coffee? Your coffee's good. You need some? You need some coffee? I got coffee. You want? So that conversation. So I'm saying that what I'm trying to say is that um it's a great time to communicate to people about fixing that saddle energetically, right? Hey, my saddle's broken. Can you help me out? You guys open? You guys fix saddles over there? You know, and to talk and to let out your what's on your mind. Right? That's one of the things that I really enjoy about um looking at these symbols, right? Because it's a way to connect dots, as well. That's what I've been doing. Excuse me, what I've been doing my entire life, or for the past 2.5 years, is looking at my life experiences and seeing how they connect to these symbols and these compartments, if you will. It's fun. Oh, Bronc, Saddle Brook, Saddle Brook. You miss you. There's an O missing. Saddle Bronczak, Zasaphy. I don't know if it's Zasaphy or Zakaphy. It's unique, regardless of the fact. I don't know what. Um, It's a rodeo event? Okay. Bro, go to bed. You know, I think it's perfect when alright, I can't get caught in the comments. I think it's perfect way to, um, connect the dots in life's experiences to this 12, um, compartments, if you will, and energetically, um, the full moon signifies a love for the different, a love for the container, a love for a group, a love for networking. There's a love that's formed, you know. Aquarius is an air element. Leo is a fire element. We look at the sign as we look at the polarity, the opposition with one sign being one hand and the other sign being the other hand, and they are both they need each other, right? The right hand and the left hand, they need each other. Look how the right hand loves the left hand, and then vice versa, right? That's an image that and a mnemonic that can help recognize how the zodiac signs are tied to each other. All right, I'm going to go back to Leo being about love and joy, and it massages the other hand, Aquarius, with the container or the group having a love with inside of the group. Even if it's not a group of love, having the same idea and being collected around the same thing, right? Any group that you can ever think of, there's a love amongst, even if they argue within the group, there's still a unity. That unity and camaraderie or friendship or associating with one another is a form of love, right? There's the the connectedness of a group and the collectedness of ideas where one connects the dots between them. There's a love there. There's a love that's formed energetically. And so, what I'm trying to say, perhaps with this full moon in Leo, it highlights the love that we have for others and also ideas that we have contained to acknowledge them, to give them some weight. It's interesting how, Sue, thank you for the follow. I'm over here on YouTube. I don't know if you came in, if you're still here or not. Same name, same lab coat. Come on over and say hi if you'd like. And so I want to digress for a moment. We've got the full moon in Leo. We've got the love added in with the full moon in Leo. I want to digress it back a little bit to um let's go back to Jane. Let's go back to December. You're welcome. Thank you for being thankful. If you ever want to come over to YouTube, I'm migrating, so you're more than welcome to come over. Thank you so much for commenting. I want to digress to the beginning of this cycle, which was marked by the new moon in Aquarius or new moon in Capricorn. Excuse me. We haven't yet got to the new moon in Aquarius, but the moon is approaching in approximately 2 weeks. The moon goes from Leo, 2.5 days, it changes sign, and it'll be a new moon at the end of Aquarius. But, and we're at the halfway point, not for nothing, but I'm digressing back to the new moon in Capricorn. Art by Muse. Thank you for the heart puffs. I'm over here on YouTube. I know you already know the information when you're ready. Thank you so much. So I want to digress to the new moon in Capricorn. A new moon is when the sun and the moon come together and they have a baby, not a real baby, energetic baby. And I say that the baby that they have is a the baby that they have is a baby with the character traits of the planet that rules that sign. So like this, the sun and the moon came together in Capricorn and they had a baby and the baby's name was Saturn. Why do I say that they had a baby? Because it's a coming together of the masculine and the feminine energy. So they come together. They have a baby, right? And Saturn is the baby that they have because Saturn is the planet that rules the zodiac sign Capricorn. Now we can tie that Saturn baby as the theme all the way until the next new moon in Aquarius. That's why I'm digressing there because we're still have that ripple of energy. Even though it happened 2 weeks ago, we still have that presence, that present. So even with this present full moon in Leo with love, defined by and brought to us by the symbolism of the moon in Leo, which we're interpreting as a loving energy and a playful and joyful energy, right? With ourselves and also with the group. We have Saturn is still the baby of the month. Saturn is located in Pisces, but we can get a little bit more information about this baby and this energy that has started this month with understanding the character traits of Saturn. Saturn says if Saturn would had a mouth and it was a person and it talked, it would say, "Be patient." So that's how we started the month with patience, taking your time. And back in December, December 21st, ever since December 21st, the winter solstice, I've been recognizing that Saturn and its patience, we could tie that to the regulation of ourself. And what does that look like? That looks like scanning ourselves. I've been finding a benefit in scanning myself to see if there's a part of my body that's tense. Like yesterday, and the day before, my shoulders were tense. Uh, I had a lot of excitement. So I had to keep, I didn't have to, I chose to, I got an opportunity to acknowledge my shoulders and, take a moment to pause and take a deep breath, you know, to regulate, self-regulate is what I've been talking about since the winter solstice. And how it was interesting how the winter solstice and the beginning of the year, it dawned on me like that beginning can symbolize the beginning of anything that I engage in. And that before I take action in a new venture of my life or of the day, I can regulate myself or have a little check-in to see if I'm patient, see if I'm um regulated to be able to engage in the next field of experience. So if we add that patience and recognize how it's in Pisces, Pisces is compassion, it's empathetic. So not only is Saturn patient and empathetic, not only is Saturn patient, but the zodiac sign Pisces is compassionate and empathetic. So being empathetic and compassionate towards ourself first and foremost, having grace, whether we are accomplishing the task or not accomplishing the task. If we've set a mark and we're unhappy with how far we've gotten with that mark, that we still have grace, we acknowledge what we have achieved, what we've built, because Capricorn is about building, thus, therefore, the baby. Saturn is about building. It's about building an emotional energy and a feeling of achievement, even if it's small energetically. And so we had that for the sun in Capricorn, amongst other things. And then we had a shift approximately 2 weeks ago. We had the new moon, sun and the moon in Capricorn. Then we had the sun transit into Aquarius, right? So the new moon was at the end of Capricorn, and then we had the sun's ingress into Aquarius. Then it turned into knowledge and knowing your worth. So we have patience, a patient baby, having grace with yourself, and then knowing your worth and adding in the love. I'm gonna have to put that together. Um, that'd be a beautiful story, which would elaborate on drama, this action, this action and drama movie that's taken place in each one of us. So that's what I have for now. Um, calibrate is an excellent word. Thank you so much for that. Regulate, calibrate, patient, graceful with yourself, into knowing your worth and to love yourself. Doing it all for you. Do it all because you're the most important person on the planet, in all the universes. You're the most important person that ever was to you right now. And without you looking at yourself as the most important being in this entire, whatever you want to call it, there's no way that you can give anything to anybody else if you're unable to see that you are the most important. And it's beneficial and imperative that you love yourself. It's beneficial and imperative that you know your worth. You don't have to, but you get the opportunity to. And that alone is an empowerment mechanism that happens when you take care of it. Like your feet, my feet. I didn't like how the callus was building up on them. So I grabbed the pet egg and I used the pet egg. And then I moisturized my feet. That, my friends, is imperative for me. When I could walk better, I could walk taller, you know what I'm saying? And feel better. All right, that's what I have. Thank you for listening to me and giving me the opportunity to share. You're more than welcome. I'm on a journey to go live on YouTube every morning or every day as much as I can. So far, I'm successful. I think I did a whole week. Um, Subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Love yourself.